friends, we are here today to make some apple pie, and we will show you in a minute the special machine that we have that peels apples. These are like little celebrities. Okay, but what you're going to need is some butter, and I always use unsalted, but for pastry you can have salted, but because it's sweet I'm going to go with unsalted. And you need some flour. So Amelia's loading the apple onto the spikes. She's got to keep it nice and square though. There we go.
Now ready? Start to turn it.
And as she twists it, it corkscrews through and moves closer to the blade.
How's it doing that?
It's a screw. Simple machine. It's a physics lesson too. That go nice and quick. Done. If I don't touch it, will it work? That's the question.
Is that?
Oh yeah. Okay. So I don't need to touch it. It turns automatically. Look at that. Look how clever.
I'm going to use my grandma's recipe, which is half fat to flour. Now butter is the fat, and we have our flour. So normally I do 1 scoop of flour and 1 stick of butter, and that will make a good base layer in your pie tin. But because I want to do a pie, I want to make a top 2, so I'm going to double it. So I'm going to do 2 sticks of butter and 2 cups of flour. All right, I'm going to have Amelia chop up the butter, and you want it into small little cubes, and you also want it straight out the fridge so it's nice and cold. All right, Amelia, so you're just going to cut this up into little cubes for me. Unwrap it for you. And yep, Josie, you're going to help me measure out the flour, okay?
I can measure.
There we go. There's your cut.
Like that, babe?
So you want to kind of
Oh, that.
cut it and then cut it again. So what I normally do is I cut all the way along.
You remember me? I know I
Like this.
think
And then
of
turn it and do it the other way or something like that. It's a little cubes. Okay, so while Amelia is chopping the butter over here, Josie and I are going to measure out the flour. All right,
I know
Josie.
you don't see this thing.
So we got our flour. She's going to do 2 full scoops. She's going to reach in. Good, keep going.
So hard.
All right, we'll give it a little shake. 1 second, because it's a little.
What can I just do 2?
Yep, just 2. Tip it into the bowl. I'm going to make it without my mixer today, just in case you guys don't have a mixer, so you can see how to do it without the mixer. All right, you ready to do another one?
Yeah.
All right, pour it in. Wait, you do it.
There
There we go. So we have 2 cups of flours in our flour, not flowers. 2 cups of flour. I want to show you our progress. So we are rubbing in the flour. All right, just let Amelia have a turn.
Can I wash my hands?
And just pushing it in, squeezing and rubbing your fingers together. Rub, rub, rub. Right.
One hand.
You're so silly. All right, we have rubbed in all our flour, and it should be in little. The light is not great here. There we go, little things like that. When it is everything like that and you've got rid of all the big lumps, then you want to add some ice water. And we want to keep it nice and cold. So you're just going to get some ice water. I just have some in a cup here. And you're just going to pour a little bit in at a time. You don't want it too wet because then it will be really sticky. So as you add the ice water, you start squeezing it together. And then once it's all come together, you're going to see it starts to come together in a ball. The girls are going to write a story about the 3 little pigs, apparently. So I'm on my own. All right. So as it comes together, you'll see if it's still kind of crumbly, you just need to add a tiny, tiny bit more water at a time. You can always add more water. You can't take it out. So we're just gonna mix it all in. And when you have a nice solid bowl, then you want to wrap it in cling film or saran wrap, saran wrap, and then put it in the fridge for about 30 minutes just to make sure it's nice and chilled before you bake it. So there, I have my nice solid ball now of dough. Pastry right there. A little bit more in here too. So I'm just gonna wrap it in saran wrap and put it in the fridge. Here I am, I'm just gonna take my saran wrap. If you don't have saran wrap but you have like a Ziploc bag or something, that's fine too. It's just to kind of stop it from drying out, but allow it to chill. So, just gonna wrap it up. Nice and wrapped up. And now I'm gonna put it in the fridge for about 30 minutes. Right, so while our dough is chilling, we wanna cut our apples and prepare them. Now these are the apples that we used, you can stop cutting them, Amelia, it's fine. These are the apples that we used on the peeler, so these are already peeled, but you don't have to peel your apples. If you cut them nice and thin, you really don't need to. So what I like to do is cut them down around the core into little chunks. You see that these? Okay, I'll cut them to the big bits and you cut them into small bits. How about that? There we go. So I'm just going to cut around the core 4 times. Make the core a little square on the top. Oh, that one's got. These were from our, actually Amelia's teacher's tree. So we got to go over to her house last week and pick some apples. So some of them aren't perfect because they're not kind of like the ones you buy from the store. So you might see like little trails where an insect was in there. Doesn't mean the whole apple's bad though, we just cut it off and thing. So for apple pie, I would say maybe about 8 apples. And I'm just going to move this so you can see me. There, and so Josephine too. Oh, let's move that just, there we go. And so you can cut them into slices. You don't need to have them so small. So little slices is fine.
I like making them small.
And but then you won't fill up your pie tin. You want them, because when you cook the apples, they will shrink a little bit as the moisture comes out. So you don't want them too small because you want to be able to taste the apple. So just, Amelia, how do we hold our knives? Remember?
Yeah.
Okay. If you do it like this, you're going to cut off your hand. So this big, little chunks like that, okay? Let's hold it properly though. Good go.
I want to do something.
You want to help me cut this one, Joe? Okay. You and I will do this one together. All right, ready? Your little lefty pal. Hold the knife.
I do red.
Yeah, you do left like mommy.
Yeah.
All right, and one more. Good girl. Thanks for helping, Josephine.
Looks like I'm going to help even more.
Maybe go get your doggy knife.
Peggy. Peggy.
If you got it back there today. So we're just going to chop them up as many as we can. We're probably going to have to get some more out the bag too. There we go. You can cut those into little strips if your knife works.
I'm chopping the apple right now, and I have no idea how my dog is going to eat it.
Alright, so we're just getting all these our apples are cut and we are back at the stove. Now I have a big saucepan, but any kind of pan will work as long as you fit your apples in. So I'm going to put all my chopped apple in. I did a lot because I think I'm going to maybe make more than one thing with all these apples. So I did a little bit extra. You probably don't need that much just to make a little pie. Alright, so I've just thrown it in. I'm going to turn my oven on. Will you get me the sugar and the cinnamon out of the cupboard, please? Alright, so I'm just going to put about a tablespoon, maybe a little bit more, of butter in. And then when Amelia comes back with the sugar, we'll add that too. And we're just going to put it on a medium to low heat. Give it a mix. You want to give that a mix for me, Jill? Oh, I got the wrong one on. Wait. Let me move you a little closer. Hold on to mommy. Hold on. There we go. Thank you. All right, and I'm just gonna get a big spoon, and I'm just gonna put one big spoon of sugar and just sprinkle it over all the apples. And I think the apples are sweet enough that you don't really need too much sugar, but if you like them extra sweet, you can definitely add some more. That's a rough one basket. Let me get the cooking bowl.
And blue, and I hope you like your apple pie. I mean apple cake.
A little nutmeg too.
I'm giving you the apple pie.
Nutmeg is really nice spice. It's good in food baking. So, just giving it a nice little thing. It's starting to sizzle now. All the butter's melted. Great job, Josephine. So, yeah, Amelia's going to do the cinnamon. She's going to do a little sprinkle of cinnamon. Come on then. Just a little dusty, and then obviously you can add the taste. Like once you've cooked it up a little bit, taste it. If it's not quite cinnamony enough for you, I just like a little hint of cinnamon because I'm not a huge fan. Apart from the apple cinnamon bread last week was really yummy. So we're just gonna. That was delicious, huh? Oh, the butter's still in there. It's still melting. Great job, Josie. All right, keep mixing. And then we also have some nutmeg here. And nutmeg's just another spice. With some ground nutmeg, and we're just going to do a little sprinkle of that too, because I like it because it rounds out the cinnamon a little bit. Good girl. Probably do a little bit more, because your fingers didn't really fit in there, did they? For some reason this one more. There we go. All right, so. Ooh, that smells yummy, doesn't it?
Okay. Is there nothing?
No, we've got to keep cooking. We've got to cook it down.
Wait,
All right, we are still here cooking up the apples. We've been going for about 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes, and they're starting to soften up. You can see in the pan there. Amelia's doing a great job keeping them moving. All the butter is melted, and we are still cooking. I think we are done now. You can see they're kind of softened up a little bit, but we don't want them to get too soft. I like a little texture in my apple pie. So we're going to turn them off. All the sugar and butter is melted, they're nicely coated, and they're going to continue to cook as we bake our pie. Next thing we have to do is roll out our dough. Friends, now our filling is made, our pastry has chilled, and now I've taken it out of the fridge, and you need a nice dry workspace, either a kitchen counter or a table. You need your pie dish. I just have a glass one, but a metal one is fine. And you need a rolling pin. If you don't have a rolling pin, like a glass bottle could work, or even one of your Play-Doh tools, whatever you have around, or you just kind of smush it out with your hands. Obviously a rolling pin is ideal. And you need some flour. The reason you need your flour is so it doesn't stick to the table. So I'm just going to put my flour all over. And I'm going to take my, sorry, it's hard for me to let you see my face, and so I'm gonna, too much. All right, so I'm gonna roll out my dough. I just want to smush it down. It might have made a little bit more moisture, this dough, which is a little worrying. All right, I'm gonna roll it out. And if it's sticking too much, you can also put some flour on your rolling pin. And that'll stop it from sticking too much. This is not the best pastry right now. So just want to roll it nice and even. You can go both ways. And I need to make a statement that I am by no means an expert baker. This is something we enjoy doing for fun in our house. I have lots of sweet tooths in our house, so. All right. So then we want to make sure it's big enough for your pie dish, and then you flip it over. Make sure you don't have any holes, because otherwise all your filling will leak out. Just cut it. And so I don't want to do a full top on mine, so I'm actually going to make it a little like lattice design, and I'll show you that in a second. So, there. So I've got my pie edge. So then I want to get a knife. Steal Amelia's knife. They are writing a story right now. And they are quiet, so I'm not going to interrupt them. Alright, so I'm just going to cut around the edge, and I want to make sure I have enough that it's not going to fall off. So you can either use an egg or some milk to kind of do a little wash on here to make sure it's nice and it's nice and soft. So I'm just going to get a little milk to do my pastry brush. So now I have some milk. I'm just going to kind of paint around the edges just to make sure they're nice. They get nice and golden brown and they don't get crispy. So like a nice moist pastry. Alright. So I'm going to just push it all up, and then I'm going to get a fork. I'm just going to make a little pattern around the edge so it's nice. And there's all kinds, you can look them up. There's all kinds of different edging you can do. I'm just going to, it's definitely not. Something's going on upstairs. The best I've ever done. So I apologize for that. I'm just going to make sure all the way around I have a nice edge, kind of. All right, so I just kind of press my edge all the way around. Now, next I want to get my filling. So, I'm just going to spoon in my apple. It's up to you how much to fill in. I have quite a lot, so I probably won't need it all because I'm going to make, I think, a little topping with something else. I'll make sure it's got enough apples in. So fill your whole pie. And then because we cooked the apples in butter and sugar, we don't really need to add any more butter. But what I am going to do is just do a little sprinkle of sugar onto the apples, just a pinch. So when they cook, it all gets nice and soft in there. All right, now for the top. Let's see, there we go. Look at that, that looks delicious. Now I'm going to roll out my pastry again, and this time I want to cut it into some strips. Oh, my pastry got a little wet. All right, so I'm going to sprinkle some more flour down. And I'm going to... Alright, so I'm just going to roll it back out, and I want to roll it into a nice, I know we'll probably have some good chefs in the family, so please don't judge my terrible baking skills. The children don't know any different, so it's okay. But unfortunately you guys have to watch too. Alright, so I'm going to roll it out, and I want it, you know, not too thick, because I want it all to cook evenly. But I want it to be long enough that I can draw strips that are going to cover my pie. Uh-oh, I'm being called. They're gonna bust. I'm gonna get busted that I'm cooking without them. All right, so, and then I'm just gonna cut with my knife. Nice strips. Like that. Uh-oh. Something's going on upstairs. Guessing the story writing isn't going as well as they'd hoped. Alright, so now I've got my strips. I'm gonna bring my pie back. Now the longest ones you want to put over the middle like this. So I'm going to start one way. Uh-oh, they're coming. Yeah, I'm filming. Hi. Busted. Hi, baby. What's wrong with Josephine?
She went to the
Okay, here you go, tell Daddy. He's in the garage. Thank you.
Also, I need to share my story.
Okay, I can't wait to hear your story.
I also know.
All right, so I've done one layer going this way, and now I'm going to do the other way, but because I kind of want to weave it, I'm going to pull all these up. Oh, I have to redo those ones. Because I want to weave it, I kind of want to have an over-under appearance. So I could go over, maybe I'll go under this one. Under, over, under, over, under, over. See, and it makes kind of like a weave. I'm just going to continue to do that with all my other pieces. I'm probably going to have to re-roll out this pastry, so I'll show you when I'm done. All right, here is my pie. I have to say it's probably the ugliest one I've ever made in my life. I have put a little apple right there. And now, so in this time-lapse video, you might have seen that I did another milk wash over the top with some milk. And then I did a little sprinkles of sugar all over just to kind of give it a nice little crispy top. So now I'm going to put it in the oven for 35 minutes, and then I'll check it. If it's nice and golden brown, you want the middle kind of bubbly, and you want the pastry nice and golden brown, but not burnt and not too dry. It's a balance. All right, let's put it in the oven.